Oh boy, these Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to drive me crazy. What is going on with this team? We need to do a full house cleaning of the coaching staff. Listen, I'm about to get into it. This is not going to be a typical reaction of mine. I'm not going to dive too much into all the stats, but there are some things that I want to highlight. However, before I get started, I am Ramy B. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I post weekly reaction videos to the Buccaneers, and this one is absolutely mind-blowing. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the Houston Texans with a rookie quarterback with a score of 39-37. We had 333 yards of total offense. Not crazy, but listen, respectable considering the game. Dropping 37 points, can't complain. However, the Texans had 496 total yards of offense. We gave up 500 yards to a rookie quarterback. They had 443 passing and 53 rushing yards. I'm going to start with our offense. We've been complaining this whole season about the constant runs, and listen, we had a lot of issues on offense. We were running the ball a lot when we shouldn't have been, things like that, but we scored 37 points, so I am not going to harp on the offensive play calling because 37 points should win you 99.9999% of football games, but it's the Bucs, so it didn't. Baker was 21 of 30, 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hell of a drive at the end of the game. That touchdown he threw to Otten over, I think it was 2 defenders. Beautiful throw. You know that Todd Bowles was playing for overtime during that drive. And Baker said, not today, scored. However, we gave them too much time, which I will get into. Rachaad White had probably one of his better games this season. 20 carries, 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 4 for 87. He had that big 50-ish yard completion, I want to say earlier in the fourth quarter, that was supposed to be a touchdown, but he was downed at the 1. And then he saved essentially the game. We still lost. He saved our potential game-winning drive when Palmer fumbled and the defenders were bobbling it, and he ended up snatching it and going down with it, which led to that 10-second runoff issue, which I will get into when I talk about Bulls and the defense. Cade Otton, 6 for 71 and 2 touchdowns. Trey Palmer, 3 for 51. My only complaint about the offense today will be that Chris Godwin is not getting featured enough. We're either featuring Evans or Godwin. We're never really featuring both, and I think that is a problem. But again, I'm not going to go after the offense today. Sure, we had a lot of ill-timed penalties, a lot of bad runs on our potential game-winning drive. We had on first down a run that lost 8 yards and put us behind the sticks, but whatever. You know what? We scored 37 points. I've been hearing all season, oh, our defense is good. They're holding opponents to 18 points a game. It's our offense that's hurting the defense. The defense is getting gassed. Oh, it's hard to win games when you're not scoring 20-plus points. Well, what is your excuse here? Houston is hardly the best team we've faced. I think Minnesota right now is looking better. We know the Lions are better, Eagles are better, and the Bills are better. So what are they, the third worst team we faced? And they were able to drop 39 points on us. CJ Stroud broke the rookie passing in a game yards record, whatever it's called, with 470 yards on 30 completions. He scored 5 touchdowns with 0 picks. We know the Buccaneer curse, rookies destroy us. Todd Bowles, believe it or not, before this season was 6-3 against rookies. I think as a head coach, or maybe as a defensive, probably as just a head coach, I think, or maybe with a defensive coordinator. I don't know exactly. But prior to last year, he was 6-1. We lost to Kenny Pickett and we lost to Brock Purdy. And now he lost to CJ Stroud. So what is he, 6-4 against rookies? But let me not even talk about their wide receivers. Noah Brown, 6 catches, 157 yards, a touchdown. Schultz, the tight end, 10 for 126 and a touchdown. Dell, 6 for 114 and 2 touchdowns. Colin, 3 for 54 and a touchdown. Like, everybody was getting touchdowns. Everybody was getting yards. We let this rookie look like prime Peyton Manning, prime Tom Brady. Like, are you serious? Todd Bowles is, in my eyes now, officially he is done. He needs to be out. We need to fire him as soon as possible. And until we do fire him, I am rooting for us. We deserve to lose every single game and play for the draft. I don't see the point in rooting for this team when Todd Bowles continuously makes the decisions that cost the team the game. The Texans didn't even have a kicker. Their only kick was with was it a running back that kicked the ball? I don't even know who he was, and made that field goal. Other than that, they were going for 2-point conversions. They were going for it on fourth down, and we still struggled to beat them. Defensively, listen, Todd Bowles is supposed to be a defensive mastermind, and I agree. As a defensive coordinator, he is a defensive mastermind. But if your defense, which is supposed to be your strong suit, is playing this bad, then you do not deserve to be a head coach, because what are you hanging your hat on at this point? You get what I'm saying? Like, we're giving up 470 yards to a rookie. They don't even have a premier wide receiver. You want to say Noah Brown is a top 10 wide receiver? Like, what is going on here? We've been giving up more deep balls than it seems like ever under Bowles. I feel like every game now we're giving up 5 or 6 deep passes. Carlton Davis has regressed this year. He played arguably his worst game as a corner. Constant holds, getting beat. Even when he's holding, he's getting beat. The pass rush is non-existent, especially when we rush 4. I know CJ Stroud was really good against the blitz, so we didn't blitz as much, which going into the game I figured would be the best choice. But if you're not going to blitz and you're going to drop back 7, at least do something. We're playing a lot of zone because, as Bowles says, Carlton and Jamel Dean are better at man, but the rest of the corners are not good at man. So we put him in zone, which goes against the strong suit of our 2 starting corners. We put him in zone, which goes against the strong suit of our 2 best corners. So we're putting our best players out of position. We have no interceptions by our starting defensive backs all season. I don't understand the game plan defensively for this team. Now, I want to go into Bowles' entire philosophy, which I've done before. If you look historically, Todd Bowles is a defensive coordinator. He's been under Arians in Arizona and Arians in Tampa. His defenses consistently look and appear to be one of the better, if not the best defense in the league. Why? Because their defenses are playing with a lead. He is a defensive coordinator that loves to blitz, get pressure, play aggressive. You can't play aggressive when you're not scoring points and taking a big lead. And it's evident when he becomes a head coach in the New York Jets or with the Bucs. Sure, the defenses look pretty decent, but they're getting torched. They're not good. I don't want to hear from any of the fans online or anything about, oh, the defense is actually really good. Listen, when you are the worst third down defense in the league, you are not a good defense. I'm sorry. Teams are converting over 50% of third downs, and it seems the longer the third down, the easier it is for them to convert. I have more trust in our defense defending a 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 over a 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 18. They converted a couple 3rd and 13s, 3rd and 14s today, with even some of them being really short passes that were just missing tackles. I don't care if we're the best red zone defense, sure, but you're letting teams get into the red zone 1,000,000 times a game, and they're settling for 60% field goals. That's still adding points little by little. Todd Bowles, to me, besides the defense sucking, is his tendency to play the defense way off the line. We scored, went up 33. They had 43 seconds, I think 1 timeout left, and they needed to go 75 yards. So what do? We play off 35 yards off the ball. We let them drive down the field in like 3 plays, right? Even when the game is closer, maybe, in general, we keep playing on 3rd down 10, 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, so they get free releases and all of that. But I want to go into his decision-making as a head coach in terms of game management, clock management. Todd Bowles, since he was a coach last year, for some reason has this fixation with going into the half or ending games with timeouts in his pocket. Makes no sense. Last year against Cleveland, we had 2 or 3 timeouts with a minute and some change left. He wanted to play for overtime. He said there was a risk of throwing a pick, even though Brady at that point had gone like 1,000,000 passes without a pick and was on a historic run, rivaling, almost broke Aaron Rodgers' record. We run, then we end up throwing a pass with like 30 seconds left, if I remember correctly, like a 20-some yard pass, move the ball, but it was too late then because he wants to go in with timeouts. Last week against the Bills, that stupid fake field goal before the half where we want to fake them, get them off sides, but our center's his hand's not on the ball, and then we decide to not kick a 59-yarder even though we made a 57-yarder a drive or 2 earlier very comfortably. Today, the Texans, I think, had a 3rd and 20, if I remember correctly, or 3rd and 18, something like that. We had 3 timeouts. We could have called a timeout. We let them essentially run the clock down. We could have called the timeout. Sure, if they converted it, no big deal. But we didn't even call a timeout. We're not even attempting to look like we're trying to score. Had we called the timeout, let's say we did prevent it. We get the ball back with a minute and some change with 2 timeouts, maybe slightly under a minute. For some reason, he feels like if he goes into the halftime with the timeouts, they'll carry over to the next half, or we get 3 points per timeout. Horrible. But let's talk about the end of the game with his stupid 10-second runoff. Evans recovers that fumble. I don't know the rule about the 10-second runoff. I'm not aware of it, but that's besides the point. The 10-second runoff would have put us at, I think, 37 seconds. We were in their red zone, I think the 15-yard line, 16-yard line, something like that. We still had 1 timeout left. Let's say we played with the 10-second runoff. We took the 10 seconds off. We have 37 seconds to drive 15, 16 yards with a timeout to score and win the game. Or, in my opinion, I think Bowles was playing for a field goal. 37 seconds to go 3 and out in that situation and then kick a field goal and play for overtime. Instead of saving that timeout and maybe using it to try to score, he decided to use that timeout to put us at 47 seconds, which we promptly scored the next play, and then gave them the ball with 43 seconds left. They ended up driving down. They caught a ball at around our 10-yard line, stepped out of bounds with 10 seconds left. Think about this head coaching decision. You need 15 yards. Is that 10 seconds going to make a difference? And you have a timeout. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's more valuable, those 10 seconds to put us at 47 seconds or having that timeout? I think the timeout was more valuable. Even when he made that decision, I was like, why are you wasting our final timeout for that stupid 10-second runoff thing? Like, you don't need 47 seconds to go 15 yards, you know, and you're not playing to go out of bounds. You're trying to get a touchdown. You're going to have the clock running in between plays. It makes no sense. But in Bowles' eyes, it does. I think outside of the defense playing like shit, we scored 37 points. The argument that our defense is holding the opponents and, you know, we're holding. I think the reason opponents are not scoring that much against us in other games is they don't need to. They're going up 2 scores. They see our offense cannot move the ball and they're playing more contently. They're like, okay, why be risky? We're up. You know, like against the Bills, they're up 24-7 or 24-10, something like that. We weren't moving the ball. They weren't worried about it. No need to be more aggressive. This game, of course, when we're starting to score and we go up, we were up 17-7 at one point. We're up, we're moving the ball. Opponents are going to try to be more aggressive, obviously, and come back and win. And when we're scoring, opponents are trying to score more, and then our defense really looks very vulnerable. Sure, we stopped the run, but honestly, I don't care if our rush defense is good. Teams are passing on us at will. They're getting deep balls. Our corners can't cover. It's just a lot of issues with this team, and until we fire Bowles, I'm rooting against the Buccaneers. I think every game we win is going to be it's going to be negligent towards the fans because it's putting us out of a prime draft position. Right now, we're sitting at 3-5 after 9 weeks. We are 3rd place in the division. The Falcons are 2nd at 4-5, and the Saints are 5-4. The Saints are 2 games ahead of us. I'm not going to go into like the half games and all that. They're 2 games ahead of us right now. Next week we play the Titans, and do we have any confidence that we're going to beat the Titans? We're officially 3rd place in the division. We have a very big uphill battle to climb. Sure, we can still win the division, but at this point, I feel like what are we going to win the division at 8-9 like last year and get bumped out of the playoffs again by the Cowboys or some other wild card team? There's no signs in this team, in this offense or this defense that we can make a playoff run. Last year we were 8-9, but we had Tom Brady. We had the greatest quarterback of all time that can make something happen out of nothing. So sure, there was always a chance that we could pull it off. I'm sure, you know, odds were against us, but we had Tom Brady. This year we have Baker Mayfield. I think he's been playing for what he's supposed to do. I think he's playing pretty well. He's not going to win us a lot of games by himself on his back, but going into the playoffs, he's not going to go on a magical run and all of a sudden start dominating and getting us to a championship game. I think making the playoffs at this point is just going to bump us out of a great draft position. Sure, the cap sucked this year. Next year, the cap is going to be tight, especially having to re-sign, you know, potentially Evans, Levante. I don't want us to sign Devin White, Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield. We have a lot of big pieces coming up, and I think getting a good quarterback for very cheap, a rookie quarterback, is more important than making the playoffs, saving Todd Bowles' career, just for him to shit the bed again next year. Frustrated, I'm done. Until we fire Bowles, lose every game. Actually, lose every game in general, but we need Bowles out of here. And I know the Glazers don't fire midseason, but they need to. Anyways, I don't want to make this too long. Thank you, Buck Nation, for tuning in. Comment down below what you think, because I'm fed up. I'm frustrated. I'm over it. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and as always, I am out.
Let's go! You a Buccaneer fan? Let me know. Let me know. We about to win this thing at home. Let's go! Buccaneers.